a 4-game losing streak here against the 11-seed Suns, who are attempting to get into the play-in. Sort of, right? Like, Luka Doncic comes in averaging 29.9 points per game against the Suns in his career, only second to Michael Jordan for the most against Phoenix in NBA history. He got going early and often in this one.
Oh, goodness. And that's Kevin Durant, man. Kevin Durant, very good perimeter defender, but Luka mixed him up right there, got to that lean back.
Luka with the triple and then some words maybe in KD's direction. Look here, though, Legs. He just has so much space.
Yeah, I mean, normally Luka magnet for defenders. I guess it was not working in this particular occasion.
I think that Luka Doncic agrees with you. Take a listen to what he's saying right here.
I've never been open so much in my life. You're not getting out in the playoffs, you know that.
Park, I mean, I love getting an intimate look at that sort of trash talk that we get to see on the floor.
Yeah, but unfortunately, only one team backed it up, and it was the Los Angeles Lakers. Look at headband Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves has been sensational, especially over the last 3 games here for LA that he's played. Back out to Luka Doncic here, carving through the defense plus the foul.
Yeah, look, this is his game right here. He gets you on his back, he wears you like a backpack, and then he gets to the line. He's too big, too strong, and you've got to have more fight and resistance if you want to deal with this man.
Luka really feeling it with this one. Finished with 33 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and the Lakers get the win here. That snaps their 4-game losing streak. This was a key win on Sunday. Luka did it all. He led his team outright in points, rebounds, assists in a game for the 120th time in his career, passing Giannis Antetokounmpo for the 3rd most all-time in NBA history. Perk, I think this is when Luka is at his best, when he's leading this team in all 3 categories. How important was this performance, especially considering we know LeBron is going to be out at least probably another week as he deals with that groin injury?
Well, listen, right now, the AC on, the ceiling fan is blowing, and Luka's feet are rubbing together right now.
What a picture.
Listen, he's comfortable. He's comfortable. And a lot of people have to realize, unless you've been traded before, you don't know the feeling. And now we're starting to see him embrace being a Los Angeles Lakers. He's finally getting his legs up under him. You see he's finally moving and getting back to the Luka that we know, rebounding at a high level, dropping dimes at a high level. Hell, he's been averaging 30-plus over his last few games. And so this is the Luka that everyone has grown to love, and now he got his swag back. You see him, he's interacting with the fans, and now it's looking dark for the rest of the league.
Well, first I want to say the image of him rubbing his feet together.
Visceral.
Well, I'm just going to say this, and you will agree with me on this. There's nothing uglier on earth than NBA players' feet.
Oh my
okay,
God.
there's a reason NBA players wear socks on the beach.
They
wear socks on the beach. I'm just telling you right now. Those dogs are torn up. Malika, I'm telling you right now. All right? But look, to his point, here's the biggest thing for me. You had to start to see the 3-point shot go in more regularly. And it wasn't necessarily yesterday, but 42% in March, 24% in the games he played in February for the Lakers. That's really, to me, forget his overall field goal percentage. He's always going to make a high percentage of shots in the lane or one-on-one shots in the mid-range or stuff at the rim. It's the 3-point shot that differentiates the kind of night he's going to have and how difficult he is to deal with. That shot has been going in at a much more regular rate. And when you get LeBron back, and they can find their defensive rhythm again before the playoffs, with Luka playing this well now offensively, and Austin Reeves, there's not enough words for how much better of an offensive player he is than I ever thought he could be.
And Legs, I wanted to ask you a question because Malika, Bob, and I were talking about this the other day. At this point, what do you call the type of player Austin Reeves is? He's not a role player.
No, he's definitely
not an all-NBA player.
He's not a star yet.
Yeah.
He's in that middle ground somewhere. Here's what he is. On a given night, if one of those guys is out, he is capable of being every bit as good as Jalen Williams can be for Oklahoma City. Maybe not quite the defensive impact. So he's capable of being a co-star when one of those guys is out. That's really what we're talking about now. And when he has to slide to the 3rd seat, he can do that as well. He's been incredible during this stretch. And look, man, they just got to get LeBron back in enough time to find that defensive rhythm. And we know what kind of factor they could be in the West.
Austin Reeves averaging 31 points over his last 3 games. And, of course, his role shifts a little bit with LeBron back in the lineup. But they're all starting to gel at the right time. If we could, I'd like to keep in the spirit of bracketology, which I love saying. I love saying bracketology. In the Western Conference play-in race, here are the final 2 in. The Kings and the depleted Mavericks as of right now. The first 2 out are the Suns and the surging Trailblazers, led by head coach Chauncey Billups, of course. So The Suns, the Lakers, they're the talk of the NBA. But when we talk about the madness here, Perk, I'm looking at the Phoenix Suns. Have you ever been, how would you, first of all, let's back up. How would you describe them right now?
A disaster. A disaster. A team that has quit on their coach. And if I'm Mike Budenholzer, to be honest, it's no more rankings in the locker room, meaning it's no more franchise guys. I'm playing the guys that are going to compete for me. And if that means Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal not getting the minutes, then damn it, so be it. At this point, he has nothing to lose. Okay, but when I look at the Phoenix Suns, in my 14 years of playing, I have never been part of an organization or a team that has quit on their coach. Hell, before we won the NBA championship, I was on the team that lost 18 games in a row. 18. But we competed. We competed. We weren't going out there, and the one thing Doc had to come in and dress and say, you're not competing. No, we was actually turning over the ball, little mental mistakes. We just didn't have it. But for us competing, this is an embarrassment, not only to the Phoenix organization, but to the rest of the NBA, because you have so many guys that are going to be Hall of Famers on that team, especially Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
What I'm seeing is a lack of passion. And that's what it oozes through them. I've called games, I've sat there courtside and felt it. I've watched them on TV and felt it. Certainly felt it in this game.
Yeah.
Here's the difference between them and other teams that we will use the word disappointment about. All of those teams that we could throw that word out is because of injuries.
Sure. Sixers, for example.
He's got Sixers, Dallas, New Orleans. These guys are healthy, and they're playing like this. And here's the analogy I'm going to use. Imagine if you're walking down the street and you're trying to catch up to somebody, and that person is walking backwards, and you still can't catch them.
Right.
That's what we're talking about with the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
The Dallas' season is over. And they're literally moving backwards down the sidewalk, and Phoenix still can't catch them. And oh, by the way, as Phoenix backs up, they're bumping into Portland now. This is what we're talking about with the Phoenix Suns. It's insane to think they can't run down the Dallas Mavericks.
Right.
And they're not even making up ground with all three of those, with all their team decimated with injuries.
The Dallas Mavericks, our Bobby Marks pointing this out, and I think it's important to just contextualize just how the madness, if you will, that you're talking about. On the 24th, the Dallas Mavericks are going to be at risk, according to Bobby, of having to forfeit games because they don't have enough healthy players available here. Because that's the first game that the league has come out and said to the Dallas Mavericks that they're not going to grant an exception, Bobby Marks says. So they're two-way players, Kessler Edwards, not available to play starting on that 24th game. And still the Phoenix Suns are struggling to catch up. So that's going to be a key date that all of us are watching here to see what the Dallas Mavericks do and if they're going to be forced into a position where they're needing to dress unhealthy players just to be able to meet that minimum. Of course, we're talking about the Lakers. Of course, we're talking about the Suns. But this is the actual month of madness. And this
Yeah, because I want to be part of this March Madness.
Okay, I like that.
I didn't get an opportunity to go to college. So I had to come up with Big Perk's bracket, okay? My bracket, Big Perk's big bracket. And I'm going NBA champions. And here's the field. We got to set the table. Put it up there. Bam! From right here. The 96 Bulls. The 96 Bulls, they in the field. Damn it, we're talking about Scottie Pippen and Jordan. We're talking about guys doing it at a high level. We're talking about one of the greatest of all time, the best duo of all time, Scottie and Jordan. They won 6 of them, so I picked that one. Next, 2017 Warriors. Bam! Put it up there. Malik, I know you smiling. I know you smiling.
It was a fun team.
Listen, yes, they added Kevin Durant with the light-skinned brother with the green eyes to go on and win that NBA championship, taking down LeBron James. When you talk about championship teams, they're one of the best to ever do it. Coming in, number 3 on the list. Bam! Put it up there. The 2001 Lakers, Kobe and Shaq. Damn it. Jelly Bean and Shaquille O'Neal, the Big Diesel. Do you remember that, Legs?
Oh,
you remember how dominant they were?
How could you forget?
You remember the conversations that was being had? Who's the Finals MVP? That's how